Welcome to You Are What You Love, your window into the future of spirituality. We're going to talk to you about your life and the evolution of your soul while we bring alive the essence of eternal truth. So here is your host, the author of You Are What You Love, Vaishali.
Welcome to another exciting episode of You Are What You Love. I'm your hostess, Vaishali, and today is Chuck Bergman Friday. Yay! We have our favorite psychic medium in the house with us, and I want to encourage you to go to his website. He just had it redone. It's beautiful, very easy to maneuver. It's one of the things I've always loved about Chuck's website. Science is to be able to operate the website. You go there, and it operates the way you would imagine it should through common sense. And it is Chuck Bergman, Bergman, chuckbergman.com. So, Chuck, welcome back to another Chuck Friday.
I know, isn't it great being Friday? Thank you for having me on, Vaishali. Really looking forward to today's show.
Oh, the Fridays with you are always the best. And I want to let our listening audience know this is the last Friday of March 2022. It's a live show. And if you wanted to call in and ask Chuck a question, maybe you've got a loved one that has crossed over and you want to know if they're around or you have other questions, 844-390-8255. That's 844-390-8255. Chuck, my kitty, Miss Galaxy, is going into heat. So you may hear a lot of kitty noises in the background.
Oh, I already do.
Yeah, I'm not filming any kitty porno. It's a natural kitty event. But when they get hormonal, they get kind of loud.
Yep, I can hear her.
So just so you know what that's all about.
Okay.
It just so happened that it has never overlapped where she was in a screaming Mimi mode when we had a show.
Yeah, that's the most I've ever heard.
And this month, man, this has been the month of Chuck Bergman. I've run into so many people that need you this month. I was in my garage and I was moving some shade cloth, and it's big and it's bulky. It's not very heavy, but I couldn't see over it. And I tripped and I had my glasses in my hand and I fell into the drywall in the garage. And I looked at my glasses and saw that they got scratched. And I tried to buff out the scratching, but I couldn't. And I looked at him and I went, well, God wants me to go to the optical store. Obviously, I need to go to the optical store or I wouldn't have tripped, I wouldn't have fallen, and I wouldn't have scratched my lenses. But this is obviously a big setup to go to the optical store, so let's see why God wants me there. So I walk in, and I've been going there for a long time, over a decade. I've known the ladies a long time, long enough to see one of them retire out. And I walked in and they looked at me and then they looked at each other and then they looked at me and then they looked at each other, and they had this look on their face, like their eyes got really big and like they were surprised, like the facial expression you might imagine you would make if you farted real loud in public. And I see something's going on, but I don't know what it is. And they're very professional ladies. And so they were making it all about, well, how are you? How have you been? What's up with you? And so we get past all of those preliminary niceties. And I'm like, so, what's up with you guys? And one of the ladies said, I know why you're here. And she said, I know you think it's because your glasses got scratched, but I really know why you're here. And I'm thinking, oh, this is interesting. We're all on the same page. And I said, okay, so why am I here? And she showed me some pictures. Her husband had undergone some surgery, and they took out a couple of feet of intestines. And she was just struggling with how to keep the incision clean and different things he was going through, and it was asking me if I could help her. And so I told her that I I had a lot of good information for her, and I spent about 45 minutes with her. And I told her I would show up tomorrow with a box full of all the stuff that she's going to need to help her husband with, because I know what it is. I know how to shop for it. Some of it I already have at home, so I'll just go home and put it together, and I'll come back tomorrow and bring her box. So I got her straightened away. Then the other lady sits down, and she goes, I really know why you're here. And I said, okay, well, why don't you tell me why I'm here? And she said, my husband died a year ago today. It's the 1-year anniversary of his death, and I'm really struggling. And she said, so, you walked in, and the two of us, we looked at each other like, oh my God, this is who we need to talk to. And look, you just walked in at the time we both needed to talk to you. And I said, yeah, it's a God thing, honey. It's a God thing. And I knew as soon as she told me about her husband, I'm like, this is a job for Chuck. I'm not that kind of professional. I only play one on the radio, but I can't really do what Chuck does. So I, sent her to your website, and I know you made a huge difference in her life.
I'm glad it helped.
I got a call from a friend of mine saying, you got a guy that talks to dead people. When my mother died, you told me about him. You made an appointment for me. It was great. I need to talk to this guy again. I can't remember his name. What's the website? So we got Maxine in there, and it was just everywhere I turned. This is a job for Chuck Bergman.
You are keeping me busy, and I love it.
I am so grateful, hon, because, who are you going to call? But speaking of that, sweetheart, I believe we have a listener on hold. Cam, do we have a listener on hold, or is that message from last week?
Yep, no, that's Linda.
Oh, we have someone on hold?
Yes, that's Linda. Linda.
Okay, great. Why don't we bring Linda on?
Okay.
Linda, are you there, hon?
Hi, how are you?
Hello? Hi, sweetheart.
Hi.
Is this the Linda
Can you hear
from?
me?
Yes. Chuck,
Yes,
can you hear her?
Yes, it is.
I
No,
can
I
hear
have
her.
put
Hi,
my
Linda.
phone-
How are you?
Hey, hi. I put my phone on speaker, but I never turned off speaker. I'm afraid if I press that button, I'll lose you.
Oh, it's good, honey. The volume is fine. You don't have to press anything. It's all good. We can hear you. Can you hear us fine?
Okay, I can hear you fine. How are you?
Well, we missed you the last time Chuck was on the show. We were hoping you would call in, and we didn't hear from you.
I know. Well, I fractured my leg. I was in the hospital and rehab for 2.5 months. So.
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I keep telling you, sweetheart, you
so-
can't do the line dances with the Chippendales anymore. Is that what happened?
The last time, though, I called in, but I called in like at 4:05, and I never got in. Today, I started calling in at 4:20, and I just held, and here I am.
God bless you, honey. God bless you. Did you hurt your leg doing line dancing with? Did you hurt your leg doing line dancing with Chippendale dancers, Linda?
No, I was tripped over a vacuum cleaner. I said I could walk over it. I was cooking on the stove and forgot I was cooking. And I saw the carrots boiling, and I said, oh, my God. So I had the vacuum cleaner out and said, I can step over this. And you know what? I fell. I tripped on it and fell and broke my femur, the top bone of your leg. Shattered the whole bone. So,
Oh, no, honey.
That,
That's terrible. But let me tell you something, honey. When people ask you what happened, you tell them you had to fight off a bunch of Chippendale dancers.
Well, I don't know who the Chippendales are. Who are they?
They're male strippers, honey. They're male strippers.
Oh, my God. Well, I'd like to see that, but really, I'd rather see female strippers.
Well, I'm just thinking we could create a legend around you, Linda. A legend that all these men are constantly chasing you, and you broke your leg trying to fight them off.
Oh, I wish, right? At this stage of my life, I don't want to find anybody.
That's going to be my story
Oh, my
about
God.
you, honey. That's going to be my
Yeah,
story.
okay.
To the last day of your
Yeah,
life, you're going to
anyway.
have to fight off the Chippendale dancers.
Okay, the Chippendale dancers. I'll have to remember that. I'll look it up. Will they show
Oh,
them
yes.
on the TV?
Well, you could just do a search. Just put in Chippendale dancers, and when you do that, make sure that you have your heart medication, and if you find that you need nitroglycerin and you
Yeah.
don't have any, just take a look at some of those pictures. That'll get your heart started again.
Just take baby aspirin, that's all. I thought
There-
you were talking about Alan and the Chipmunks. Remember them?
Yes, yes. Yes,
Hey.
these guys. They collect. I was going to say their interest in nuts is a little different, but maybe I should.
I'm sure.
Yes,
Oh,
probably
I
stop
was
that
supposed
now
to
while
go
I
into
can.
Boston today, I was supposed to go to Boston, but my ride never came. So I've been home, and I said, oh, good, now I can call into the show and not be late.
Yes, yes. And did you
Yay.
want Chuck to tune in for you, honey?
What do you mean?
Did you want
I'm
him
fine.
to see if who's there to talk with you?
Yeah, you want to say hi to Chuck? You mean? See who wants to talk
say
to
hi
me
to
from
Chuck.
the other side?
Say hi, Chuck.
So she would take me over the Chippendale dancers.
I don't know what that is. Never heard of them,
Well, don't worry about it, honey. You wouldn't be able to tell the difference between Chuck and a Chippendale dancer.
Yeah, right.
They're ubiquitous.
I think those days are
Yeah,
ending.
we're both old. I could tell. You're lucky to get up and walk out of bed every day, right?
Well, I think all of us at this point are, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm not complaining. I'm very happy that I'm retired and I don't have to work.
Me
and I don't
too.
care if I don't have much money. The hell with it, right? I was going to use a bad word. I forgot we're on radio.
Oh, that's okay, honey. As long as you're enjoying your life, that's all that really matters, right?
I am. I watch TV, all kinds of stuff, and family. My brother lives with me, younger brother, for about a month, and he's finally gone. So I'm on my own, which is good. I like being independent, so I can finally walk outside without somebody holding my arm.
Oh, yeah, that's got to be
Now,
great.
I used to love Richard Chamberlain. If he wanted to hold my arm, that would be all right. But he must be as old as I am now.
I don't even know what's happened to him. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know either, So
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not too interesting today, huh? I guess I don't have much to say. But you're both so wonderful.
Well, Chuck, is her husband around?
Yeah, Fred.
Yeah.
He is. I'm going to try this with you, Linda. While you were talking, even though you and I weren't kind of linking in with each other at the time, I was seeing if Fred would link in with you. He's giving me something about you and potato soup.
Potato soup?
Yes.
It's funny. I bought emergency food at one time, and we cooked the potato soup from that, and it was so delicious. And I was thinking of going through those today because I have a bunch of different emergency food, because times are different, And I was thinking of going through one and looking for a potato soup, although I should be on a diet,
Go ahead and have it.
Enjoy it, sweetie.
Now, how random is that? Potato soup.
Isn't that interesting? Yeah. I mean, only he would know that you were thinking about that today.
Yeah. Well, he mentioned potato soup, so he must have known that I was going to be looking through that stuff for it, But anyway.
He is telling me that your leg's getting better now. He said he's ready to dance with you now. You should be able to dance with him.
Oh, okay, that's good. That's good. I'll put my arms around you and and I'll pretend he's here and I'll dance. But I probably need to have a cane or something to hold on to. My balance isn't very good now. So, but I miss him, and neither one of us are much of dancers. We have more. I don't know. We like TV. We like different things, but I don't know. I don't know what to say except he's on the
What's,
outside. Oh, I read something today. Uh, they sell these little novelty gifts and everything, and it says something about you're in heaven and I am here, and I will meet you when I go there. Something like
oh,
that,
that's cute. I like it.
That's sweet.
Yeah. So I wrote it down. I think I'm gonna get a plaque or something made. What the hell? But you can't live in the past, and I realize that. So I'm lucky I got through this. The nursing home was so bad, and there was so much abuse there. I just couldn't take it, and I had a meltdown while I was there because these people were so horrible. But I determined to get better and get the hell out. So
That's
that's all I
sad to
know.
hear, though, really.
That's terrible to
But
hear.
I would
well,
think that, with all
sometimes
the
it's not
cameras
me.
today and everything, that I thought, I just can't believe they would not treat you like a superstar. They really should.
Well, they really should, but it's because of COVID-19. It's because
No, no excuse
there's
for that.
two there's two people for 40 patients. They're all overworked
Now I
and
kind
they're
of get it.
underpaid.
Yeah, that's not fair either.
But
Yeah.
no, I
We're
know,
all
but it's
human.
not right to tell somebody they can't have water, you know, because oh my God. Anyway, thank God I got up and got better. They never stopped me before. I could rise above it. But I'll tell you, when they dragged me off to the hospital, I was screaming. I was screaming here on the floor, just going on the board.
Yeah, that's
That's
very
really
serious.
scary.
A broken femur.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, you can bleed
yeah.
to death with that.
You can what?
You can bleed to death with a broken femur because it's so close to the femoral artery.
Oh,
If there's a
Yeah,
jagged piece of the bone, it can sever the artery,
yeah.
and they say you'll bleed out in 3 or 4 minutes.
oh my.
It's
Well, thank
really, really
God I didn't
dangerous.
sever the artery. Thank God I didn't sever the artery, huh? I wouldn't be here.
Right.
So you'd be talking to me from the other side.
You'll keep me awake all night. I know you will.
Oh God,
This
I'm
movie
such an
Ghost, where
idiot sometimes.
the Whoopi Goldberg and she wouldn't, the spirit wouldn't shut up. Remember that?
Oh, and Ghost. Right,
Yep,
right,
Yeah,
I
it
right.
remember
was
that.
funny.
Yeah, the movie. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I
that'll be
watched that
Linda though
again.
doing it to me.
It seemed it seemed so different than the last time I saw it. I was so serious the first time I saw it, and this next time, Sixth Sense, right? And next time I saw it though, I still liked it. But I'm not much into supernatural, because I don't really have that ability. And all the things they have about ghosts out there are all scary stuff, and I don't want that. People
Nah,
don't know that, ghosts are friendly, like Casper.
that's why some people think what I do can be, terrifying, or they're going to hear bad
It's
news or
not.
whatever. It's never
It's not.
unpleasant.
The day after Fred died, I mean, I called you because, my brother knew you as a cop, and I called you, and the first you called me and you said, "Did your husband use the word bullshit?" And I said, "Yeah, he used that word all the time." And then you told me at the wake you'd be standing right behind me, holding my shoulder. So, a lot of what you do is very comforting to people.
Good. Yeah, I don't always remember what I
And
tell people. I kind of live in the moment. I
well,
live with it, and give it out and
well,
move
you know
on.
what?
So,
I remember a lot. I remember a lot. So, every once in a while, something will sneak up in my mind. It'll make me think of something that was said at one time. But,
yeah,
my family, They don't like it if I even bring up Fred's name. It's like, Linda, you have to go on. You have to go on. At 72, what are you going to go on to? College?
That's not really right that they're doing that. I wish, that's your right to think about him till the day you die. That was your husband.
Yes.
And then to show that kind of love and let him know that you still care about him, they shouldn't stop you. It's not retarding your life. It's helping you get through your life.
I haven't been home for 2.5 months, so during all that time at the nursing home, I used to whisper to him, and my younger brother brought me the blanket I made with his picture on it, picture of him and I had that. It was comforting, and it was like a security thing. I couldn't let go of it, and if I thought I lost it in bed all the time, I'd panic. Where's Fred?
I get it.
I swear he helped me get better. But
Yeah.
I'm going to be much more careful. My memory is shot. I can't remember if I'm cooking anymore, so I can't cook. Because I forget. Like, I like to warm up my clothes in the dryer because I hate to wear them in the cold from the closet. I'm freezing because I'm anemic, so I warm them up. I like them warm, and then I walk away and forget. Half an hour later, I said, "Oh my God, the dryer's going." And I said, "Oh my God," to my brother Jim. I could start a fire here, and he said, "No, that wouldn't start a fire." But he said, set it to a timer so that it'll shut off automatically. So,
Yeah.
I don't do anything that's unsafe anymore,
You know what I try and do, sweetheart, so I don't forget, is I'll set an alarm on my phone. And the alarm on the phone will say something like, check the laundry, move the hose, or whatever it is. So if I don't remember, the phone will remind me.
Wow. My alarm was supposed to ring at 3:45 to remind me to call in. Because I would completely forget that I was going to call in today. It's not that I don't want to. It's just that I forget things,
Yeah, we all do, Angel.
Anyway,
We all do. There's a
I
lot
don't
of
want to
stuff.
keep anybody else from calling in, So I don't want to take up much time, but I just want to tell
Honey,
you guys I love you.
you can have all the time you want. We look forward to talking to you, and we hadn't talked to you in a long time, and I was wondering what was going on with you. So it's good to get caught up.
Yes, it is. But, other people want to call in too. But
Well,
I have it on speaker, and I think that's why I can't hear very well over here at my end.
I think what's happening there, it's called clipping, where when we're talking, it shuts your microphone off, and then when you're talking, you can't hear us.
Yeah.
And that'll happen with a speaker.
Okay, I see you. Okay. We can't hear each other simultaneously at the same time. No?
Right. Actually, it's called duplexing.
I want to come on the show.
You are on the show.
Well, with Sally, I did call Linda about a week or two ago to remind her about the show.
I'd like to meet Sally, see what
See,
it looks like.
See, now we're talking over each other because, okay.
Yeah, sorry.
So, Linda.
Yeah.
Linda, I was trying to tell Washali that I called you like 2 weeks ago just to remind you to come on, that we were looking forward to hearing from you. And she had told me that she had an appointment, but what she was going to do is on the way back to her home from Boston, she was going to go on the website and call in while they're transporting her. So I'm glad you're doing it from your house. I'm glad you're home today.
Yeah, if that appointment hadn't been canceled, I wouldn't be able to, because I'd be lucky if I got home at 5 or 6 o'clock. But they forgot to pick me up this morning, so I just, I found a doctor close by anyway, so I don't want to go to the Veterans Hospital. It's too far away for my care. The ride is not dependable. And family doesn't want to take me into Boston. I don't blame them, the traffic and everything. I mean, I'm not independent like when I could drive, So, but the local doctors, I switched health insurance back last year, and thank God. Thank God everything was covered that I have, no deductible. The paid like $100,000 so far. So I'm very
Wow. That's expensive to break your femur.
Yeah, I got the Blue Cross Blue Shield medics, bronze medics, and Medicare pays part of it, and they pay the rest. So everything I've done is all free except for medication that, I get it from the VA or I'll pay for it up front at the pharmacy. But, that's nothing compared to what they've all paid for me, and that's not all the bills. So I'm very grateful, and I don't want to go back to any hospital again with a fracture. So I had 2 broken arms when I was a kid, but I don't remember.
Oh, is this the only other time you've broken something?
I broke my arm when I was a kid falling out of bed, and I was at the bottom bunk bed, but then it broke again afterwards. I don't remember why. I forgot all about it, though, so I don't really remember anything except being told that I had a broken arm. But, I remember being in the hospital for something else, But I won't say that on the air, because, anyway, because we're on live, right? And I went in for stomach problems. I had twisted intestines, and it was extremely painful. So I was screaming and screaming. So anyway, the doctor told my mother not to bring us kids to him anymore because all we did was scream and cry. Poor doctor, he must have been glad when he retired.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So,
but it's good that Fred has weighed in on your leg is getting better. That's always good to know.
It's good. It's good to know it's better, and I'm not taking any chances on making it not be better. I just got the cast off yesterday. So
Yeah, but it's still weak. You got to be very careful.
It wasn't a cast; it was a brace, but it was like a cast. It had locks on it so that I couldn't bend my knee. And I couldn't bend my knee for almost a whole month, it was just straight. So it was kind of awkward, but anyway, like I say, it's not the pain that bothers me, it's the initial pain, yeah. But the pain recuperating is nothing compared to that. So anyway, I'm very lucky, and I'm grateful to have such good friends, And, I get all these things about the archangels on my computer site. The Sonny Johnson or something, I don't know if anything was recommended from you, Rashani, but I get these things about angels, and I love reading them, they're very inspirational. So, I'm reading all good stuff and not doing any bad stuff that would bother me. You know what I mean? So, and being good to people, being happy, loving the people you have, that's the important thing. Not what you don't have, but what you have, be grateful.
You nailed it. That's it.
That's it,
Do you have a cast or something on now? Do you have to go back and have them take it off?
No, it came off yesterday. The doctor said I don't have to go back unless there's a problem. Yep. So
great.
No, I'm all set. It's all healed. He said it healed very well, My brother lived here for a month, and all he did, my younger brother, was back orders. I'm not going to say that because we're on live radio, but
Yeah, wait till he finds out.
I was supposed to hold on to the walker and, only have 50% weight bearing when I first got home. And, actually not when I first got home. I couldn't do any weight bearing. And they had to practically carry me in the house. It was scary. But, he would tell me, push down on that walker. You're not pushing down on the walker. You're not doing your arm exercises. Don't you care? That was my younger brother, Not my older brother. Jim has been good to me, My younger brother's good to me, too, and he's a great cook. So you're lucky with that, Chuck. You've got Johnny to do that.
He's learning. He's doing really well with it.
Oh, Oh, great.
Good. Yeah. Well, listen, I thought before when I talked to you that it wasn't like one person and then another person. I thought heard you both and we all talked at the same time, but I have it on speaker. Maybe that's why. I don't know. But I'm kind of out of it anyway. I'm really tired. I've been cleaning up the house, I washed the floor. Because I don't know why, but the wheelchair makes marks on the floor or something. But anyway, it's nice and quiet, And I know Fred visits me at night. Right now, I'm looking at the picture of Villa Lago where he grew up, and it's on the wall here. A friend of their family made the watercolor painting, the replica of the town that he grew up in, and you see the people going up the steps, and all the little shops and everything. It's very quaint. I'd almost like to be there if I could walk up all the steps. So,
You're not ready for that.
no, I don't think I'll ever be ready for that. So listen, you guys, I want to get off and let somebody else call in, okay?
Well, it was so good to hear from you, Linda, and I'm so grateful that you're back at home.
Thank you. And Vishali, I intended to, I don't know what one it was in January, or was it January and February, because it must have been December, because I fell on January 9th. So, I didn't get home until February 10th. So, but what was I saying? I can't remember.
No, that was it. Because we had noticed that when Chuck was on in January and February, we hadn't heard from you, and I was wondering what was going on. So I'm so thrilled that you called in and let us know.
Well, thank you. It was the December one. I think it was the end of the last one of the year in December.
I think you're right.
I tried to call in, but I didn't set a clock, and like I say, I'm forgetful. So I called in like about 10 past 4, and then I never called in the whole time. So today I called in at like 20 or 4, quarter of, so that way I was sure I got in. So that's the thing to do. So
I love your enthusiasm. I love your enthusiasm, sweetheart.
Well, I get that from you guys too. I mean, you're very good at helping people to feel better. With the last time when the first time I called, I was so depressed, But now I'm not, because you know why? This experience made me grateful that I was able to recover, and I don't know what quality life I have, but the quality doesn't matter, I mean, you can do something. Everybody can do something,
Yeah.
Do I have time just to tell you an inspirational thing?
Oh, yeah, I love that.
Okay, there was a little girl about 2 years old who had no arms. And this is true, a family took her in. And she wanted to be fed, but they wouldn't feed her. They made her learn how to feed herself with her feet. And there was a family of 8 kids, and she even had chores. And it didn't matter that she had no arms. She had 2 feet. So, the people told her, she might have got arms later on in life, I don't know. But, people told her, you got to take care of yourself. You have to do it for yourself. So I was touched by that, So, that really helped me, I would think back to that little kid, and with no arms, So, anybody can do anything, Doesn't matter if you don't have a limb, or even if you're losing your mind or being forgetful. There's things you can do to overcompensate for all that. Just enjoy the little things, And right now, I used to have my shades down for the last 30 years. Fred never liked having the shades up, So that was a thing with him. But now they're up all the time because my brother said, let the world in. And recently I started looking at this robin redbreast out there, on my neighbor's lawn. And I could sit and watch them for an hour. I mean, so little things that are important, So, anyway, let somebody else call in, okay?
But
I'll try to get in next month, huh? I'll make
yes,
no plans for when you
call
have
back
a show.
time it's on,
Okay?
sweetheart. We want to find out what you're up to, and we want to hear from Fred. And
Yeah.
Thank you for your inspirational stories, because we all get caught up in our own stuff, and we forget the bigger picture.
Yeah, there's people out there a lot worse than we are,
Absolutely.
But everybody has to help themselves, regardless of what's wrong. We all can do it. So, okay, I'm gonna get a cold drink and sit down and watch a TV show. So
enjoy, sweetheart.
Next month, I'll be fine. You too. Sally, how have you been?
Oh, I've been really good, hon. Outrageously blessed.
Oh, good. I'm so glad. Okay? Just
yeah.
Trouble, though, okay? Don't get in trouble.
I promise. And we'll try and have Chuck send you a reminder email next time he's on next month.
Yep, I look at Chuck's site all the time, and I'm gonna write it down, and I'm setting my clock again. Okay? You're more important than my floor. Okay?
Okay, sweetheart, we would love that.
Huh?
We would love that.
I'll let you go, okay?
Okay,
bye,
sweetheart.
Bye, both of you.
Okay, bye, Linda. It was great talking to you again.
Bye.
Bye, sweetheart.
Bye.
She's just the sweetest lady. Just the sweetest.
I'm sitting here trying not to laugh, but she is funny.
She's adorable. She's effing adorable. Not cussing because it's radio. She's so cute.
I know.
I want to remind our listening audience the show is You Are What You Love. And today our guest is psychic medium Chuck Bergman. And if you would like to call in and ask Chuck a question, maybe you'd like to know if there's a loved one around you, you're welcome to call in at 844-390-8255. 844-390-8255. So, Chuck, she's so cute. And I'm so sorry to hear about her experience at the nursing home.
That bothered me when I talked to her. In fact, I think one time I called her, she was still in the nursing home, and I just felt so bad, and something's wrong if two nurses have 40 patients between them. You can't do that,
That's negligent.
It is.
And that's abusive to the employees.
Very, to the employees and the patients, so really bad.
But, Massachusetts is a state where if you're not getting the shot, you're fired. If you won't get the death shot, you're fired.
I know.
They don't care about how much suffering it puts into motion. It's just a real control fest. I can control your life. It doesn't matter how much damage I cause. I can control it.
And they do.
Yeah. But I'm glad that she's back at home. I got to imagine there was just a huge wave of relief to just walk through the door after that experience. You know what it's like to just be tooling along in your life, and then you have this medical thing that takes you out, and without any planning, any preparation, you're out of your house and on the way to the hospital for a month or more.
And there's nothing you can do about it.
Right.
Linda hit on a good point that, a lot of times we look at our own situation and we think we're in a real bad place in life. And then she realized she falls, breaks her femur, and, life just got a little tougher. But I did do an interesting reading this week, and it was a middle-aged lady. I call her and had no idea where the reading was going to go other than she wanted to connect with her dad. And this is really a strange one where the first thing I got was a very beautiful, almost like a hologram image. It looked like someone had taken lighter fluid and on the floor did a circle, with the lighter fluid and then lit it on fire. And then the person I'm getting ready to read is standing in the middle of that ring of fire. And then, almost in stereo and beautiful sound, I heard Johnny Cash singing, you just stepped into the ring of fire.
I was going to say, were you talking to Johnny?
No, he wasn't there, but I did one time in my life when I was on patrol. Johnny Cash was in town in Salem, Massachusetts, and we didn't know who was in this big, huge motorhome, and the vanity plate on the back said JC, and we kind of had our hunches, so we ran the listing, and sure enough, it came back to Johnny Cash. And I left the area, but my friend actually went in and got to meet him and go on board with him on the motorhome and talk to him.
Wow.
So I missed out on a golden opportunity.
I thought for sure his license plate would have said, "I've been everywhere, man."
Oh, God, he has been everywhere. So what happened on this was really interesting, where I asked, the client about why the ring of fire and why are you in the middle of it? It sounded pretty odd. It turns out that she had some kind of a surgery on her back, and this led to nerve damage, which was causing her skin to feel like it's on fire all the time.
God.
She said no difference between taking a match and running it under your arm and feeling the heat and the burn. That's what she feels all the time. So I thought, wow, what an amazing visual I got, the Ring of Fire, Johnny Cash singing and all of that. But
Whoa.
Linda really she just struck a note with me now where, after I did the reading for this lady and found out all the pain she's in, and there's no hope really for curing it or, putting an end to it. And I thought, here we are driving our cars and doing what we're doing and getting around at least. So you got to realize maybe you think life isn't that great right now, but it could certainly be a lot worse.
It's that old saying, when I was complaining about not having any shoes, I saw a man with no feet.
True. That does sum it up.
Yeah, and there will always be that. But, she didn't live all this time to not accumulate some wisdom.
That's for sure. I look at every reading. It's amazing how I learn not only the technique of seeing the images and hearing the sounds and everything I've got to do, but it truly makes me appreciate life a lot more when I hear some of the very sad stories that I hear.
Right. One of the, this just calls for a case for Chuck Bergman that happened this week is, and I believe you have an appointment with her on Sunday this week. There was a woman that stopped me and said she had a relative who died where they live. It's not in the United States. It's out of the country. And she couldn't get any information on what he died from and what's going on. And, when we can't get clarity, oftentimes our mind makes something up.
Sure.
And where our mind goes when it makes stuff up is usually not pretty. And so she was just torturing herself with what is going on. And she called me and she said, I don't know why this person died. They were young. They were in good health. There were no reasons for them to have died. And they wanted me to see if it was a spiritual attack and if it was something nefarious. And I wasn't getting anything that would give them any clarity. And I said, well, why don't we just make an appointment with Chuck and Chuck can just talk to him and ask him what happened.
You're right. I think that is on Sunday, and I'm curious myself to see.
The look on her face was like, you mean there's someone I could just call and ask? And I said,
easy.
yeah.
So, yeah, that'll be an interesting one to find out You're reminding me of the one case I did that was really amazing, where a gentleman up in Chicago, they had it as a drowning, and the family didn't believe that. And I said, no, there's a bullet to the top of the head, because I was 100% positive in the information I gave and how I was seeing things. And as it all turned out in the end, I ended up talking to a judge up in Chicago. They actually flew me up there, and took a little bit of it. Wasn't easy, just saying I'm a medium, and this is what I'm seeing, this is what I'm getting. But we convinced him to do a second autopsy, and within minutes they found the bullet to the top of the head.
Wow.
So that was an amazing, and the whole story is outlined in my my second book, The Psychic Cop. But it just goes to show you, like, this gentleman was not giving up. He'd given his name correctly, his line of work correctly. Just everything he was giving was right on target. So then when he showed me the bullet in the top of the head, I said, I got to go somewhere with this. I can't just ignore it. And the family was told that he was, suicide by drowning, which just didn't make any sense. He wasn't depressed. Everything was good. Had a real high-paying job.
Yeah.
There was one element there, and I'm not going to get into the numbers, but it was a very big number. He had an amazing life insurance policy, and they had already declined to pay because it was a suicide. And then after the second autopsy with a different medical examiner, she was given the check that she very well deserved. But it was in the millions, I'll put it that way.
Wow.
And that would have been that would have been ignored otherwise. It would have been declined.
Right. Fraudulently.
Yes. Well, in a way, I get their point. If that's one of the clauses, and then the medical examiner says suicide, they're off the hook, and they know it, so they took advantage of it.
Right.
But that's one for the books, where you actually get a judge to sign an order for a second autopsy and required a different medical examiner. And it made all the papers up there where the first medical examiner was actually fired. And I think they brought charges against him too for willfully putting in a false report on the death.
Wow.
He was involved, and the deeper it got, the more I said, it's time to go back to my little cabin in Middleburg, where no one can find me.
Right? Yeah. I know people come to you all the time and say, I need to talk to somebody who's crossed over. Has it ever happened the other way? Have you ever had somebody who's died showed up and said, I need to get a message to somebody who's alive?
I have. I know I have in different forms, where my favorite one, and I'll say it because it's so bizarre, where a young, middle-aged lady wanted to talk to her mom who had passed over. And we're doing the reading, and I said, oh, I feel bad. It looks like your marriage is on the rocks. And she said, what a thing to tell a person.
Right.
And she says, well, it's not going the greatest, but I wouldn't call it on the rocks. And I can go into a little bit of detail on it, and it shows you how brave I am to believe the messages when I receive them. I said, your mom is saying she would like you to go into the master bedroom and let me know when you're standing by your husband's side of the bed. Of course, she thinks I'm a weirdo, and I'm thinking, like, I don't even know what to tell you other than this is what she's giving me. So she's standing next to the bed and says, all right, Chuck, I'm there. Now what? I said, lift up the mattress, and there should be a little radio in there with a little antenna on it. See if there is. And she reaches under the mattress, between the mattress and the box spring, and pulls out a little radio. She said, how did I know it's there? And I said, I didn't. Your mother's telling me it's there. I said, turn it on and see if you can hear me talking over the little radio. And she did, and she could hear me. So she said, I don't get it. I don't understand what's going on here. I said, you're using a cordless phone, not a cell phone, but a cordless phone. Your husband bought the scanner so he can listen to that phone and listen to your phone conversations. And he's doing that because he's having an affair with someone he works with, and this way he knows if you're on to him or not. So if your friends are saying we saw him or we know about this or whatever, he's going to be one step ahead, and your mother doesn't like that at all. So that answers your question. There have been a few times where someone in spirit will get a message to someone here, and a lot of times they're not even expecting the message.
Right? Right?
And on occasion it'll be medical information, and they'll go and have it checked, and it turns out to be true. So it's kind of odd. You never know what's going to pop up during a reading.
Yeah.
For me, the key is I have to trust what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing, and know that it's coming from something good.
Yes. Yes, yes. And the only way you can do that is practice, 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 and experience.
The more you practice, the better. Not the easier it gets. It'll always be hard, but over the years, and I've been doing it over 35 years, you kind of do get you get the feeling in better. You can tell what the symbols are, and you can move a lot faster. There's less guesswork than when you're new at it.
Yeah, yeah. And it's so interesting. I talk about Swedenborg a lot, and all the writings of Emanuel Swedenborg and his, journeys into the spiritual world. And he'll describe what things look like in the spiritual world. And there have been times when you'll describe what you're seeing in the reading, and you won't exactly know what it is. And I'll say, well, when Swedenborg saw that in the spiritual world, it meant X, Y, and Z. And it always makes sense. The other person who's receiving the reading goes, well, yeah, that is a circumstance in this case. That is relevant. And it's always been really fabulous to have ways of confirming and validating, information about what's going on in the spiritual world, because it's hard to validate the spiritual world and the physical world.
It really is. I may start listening to Off the Left Eye, is it, with Curtis?
Yeah.
I haven't done that in a while, and I know when I listened to it in the past, I did learn a lot, so it would be worth seeing how all that plugs in now. Is it even better?
Yeah. Yeah, right? So I'm assuming that with, everything that's been going on, that there's no events coming up that you're going to be attending or anything that we need to let people know about.
No, mostly because of the COVID thing. I've backed off from that. I mean, I do a few in-house sessions where a whole family may even show up, to do a reading. It sounds odd, but before, even when I was, before all this hit, I would have people fly in from other countries with family members, and a couple of the families will come every second or third year. They'll come back for another reading, but they only want to do it in person. And they'll fly to the area, by plane, of course, and then rent a car, a hotel room, and they're here. So I got to tell you a quick funny one because we're running short on time anyway. But I had a gentleman, I think he was in Tennessee, and he grew up here, he was a teacher in the Jacksonville, Florida area, which I'm close to. So when I called him, he wanted to come here to see me. And he seemed like such a nice guy, and since I live, I offered to put him up so he wouldn't have to get a hotel room.
Oh.
And this is kind of funny because I talked to him like on a Wednesday, and he said, well, what do you have open? And I said, actually, you called it a good time. We've got to work from Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So you pick whatever you want. You can stay the night, and I'm sure we'll have a great time. And he actually taught at one of the schools I used to go to when I was a child. So I thought, boy, this is going to be kind of fun.
Yeah.
Well, he misunderstood, and he booked his flight. I think he got here on a Friday morning, and he left on like Tuesday morning. So he stayed with me all those days. Total stranger in the beginning, but it really worked out great. He was such a nice guy. And because he was here that amount of time, we even got to go and visit the gravesite of his wife and do different things like that. And we're still friends.
Wow, I love that. It's another God thing. I love it when the God thing happens, honey.
That really was.
Yeah. And if you're listening to this show on the download and you're thinking, hey, I want to talk to Chuck, Chuck will be back next month. And in the meantime, I want to encourage you to go to his website, chuckbergman.com. Chuck, spelled exactly like you would imagine it, C-H-U-C-K, Bergman, B-E-R-G-M-A-N, chuckbergman.com. And Chuck, until we do it again next month, rock on, babies.
You've been listening to You Are What You Love with author Vaishali. To order Vaishali's book, You Are What You Love, or to schedule a private self-emergent session with Vaishali, visit youarewhatyoulove.com. Thanks for joining us, and remember, you are what you love, and you love whatever you give your attention to. So love wisely.